Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms! And in just days live on the WWE Network, 3 teams will step into a ring to fight for the Tag Team Championships of the UK brand in what is sure to be a highly contested affair that will test each team's will to win, their intensity, and their ability to trust one another. Also, 2 friends turned bitter rivals will clash in a battle for the Women's Championship that is sure to be very personal. And finally, a big strong boy will go head-to-head with the Ring General for the world crown of the WWE United Kingdom brand. But before it is time for the 2 friends to step into the ring with one another, before it is time for the Ring General and the big strong boy to face off, before it is time for NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff, it's time for the rundown! Thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another video right here on YouTube.com. As of course, you already know who I am. Mr. Controversy and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. This is the official rundown for NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff, which is streaming live this Saturday on the WWE Network starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, before we get into the preview and predictions for the show, I am back. I had a fantastic vacation. I did a lot of great stuff down on Long Beach Island. Jet skiing, water park, mini golf, caught some real good waves on my boogie board. You know, it's always been a passion of mine. And then, of course, I went to Fantasy Island, the amusement park down there, and I won myself a graffiti lava lamp. Of course, you can't go wrong with the lava lamp. Add that to my, little shrine here in my room. Just for show. Obviously, now you know why there was no Lightning Flash update last week, but I am back in the game. I do have a few announcements to make. Number one, next week I do start my junior year at college, so I may not be able to get the Lightning Flash update. Possibly, I may not be able to get up the pay-per-view reviews up for you guys as you would normally see. SmackDown is going to be moving to Fridays, and it's going to be tough to get all the weekly shows in and get all the reports in. I may move the Lightning Flash update to Saturday if that's the case. And Saturday is going to be the Lightning Flash update day. I could do pay-per-view and prediction shows a little bit earlier. Maybe on Fridays I can do those. And, it's going to be a busy time. It's going to be a busy time. I got 6 classes, so bear with me. I'm going to try my best to get the content up for you guys and stay up to date on my classes and try and, pass it to the best of my abilities. I got to maintain a 3.7 GPA. I'm going to the accounting industry, so it's stressful. It's stressful, and it's going to take up a lot of time. Next announcement. I got myself a little commentary gig. If you don't know what I'm talking about, for those of you who do not know about WrestleMania, it is a wrestling promotion created by Crowbar, former WCW superstar. His name is Christopher Ford. He is the owner and the creator of WrestleMania. He created WrestleMania back at the beginning of 2018. I have been to every single show. There have been 7 shows. Now they're going to have an 8th show. It's going to take place on September 2nd during the Rutherford Street Fair starting at 12 noon. That's right, 12 noon. Is when the show's going to be starting. It's like a little WrestleMania pre-show. In a sense, it's not an official WrestleMania event. The official WrestleMania event, I'm assuming, may take place at the end of September or the beginning of October. I'm going to talk to Crowbar and get the details on that. There's 6 matches going down at this little pre-show event during the Rutherford Street Fair starting at 12 noon. And I'm going to be commentating. I will be commentating. I'm going to be sitting alongside Ed Ruffalo. It's going to be a good time. So far, there have been 3 matches announced. We got the Patriot taking on Andrew Anderson. We got Gunner Trash defending the North American Championship against the Meadowlands Monster. And then finally, in a rematch from last year's Labor Day, we have Sebastian Cage taking on Crowbar in the main event of the WrestleMania show. I'm going to be calling these matches. It's going to be a great time. You can come down. You can meet me. You can meet the WrestleMania wrestlers. It's all for free. It's going to be set up right in the street. It's going to be great. Hopefully, it's not too hot like it was last year. Last year was blazing fucking hot, and I was feeling like the fucking Wicked Witch of the West out in the street, melting. Hopefully, this breezy weather outside keeps up. But anyway, let's get into the festivities here on the rundown. We have 5 matches set for NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff, and I believe that they're going to be kicking off the show with the Grizzled Young Veterans defending the NXT UK Tag Team titles against Gallus, members Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, and Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews, the hometown boys. First off, I know for a fact this match is going to be great. This could very well be the match of the night. This has the potential to be the match of the night. When it comes to tag team wrestling, you can bet that NXT is always going to deliver. They always deliver when it comes to tag team wrestling. Does this have the potential to be better than the Fatal 4-Way ladder match at TakeOver 25? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. This certainly has the potential to be better than NXT TakeOver Toronto, that's for sure. But we're going to have to wait and see how it plays out. I'm very much looking forward to this match. I see a lot of potential in this match. I have a feeling that all 3 teams are going to bring it. This is only the second NXT UK TakeOver, so you know that all 3 teams are going to bring their A game. Crowd's going to be hot for Andrews and Webster. And as far as the outcome goes, it's a bit unpredictable. It's a bit unpredictable, and in a good way. The unpredictability factor for NXT and NXT UK, it really adds a lot of intrigue and a lot of interest when you take a look at some of these matches. And, all 3 teams make a good case as to why they should retain, or why they should win or retain. Obviously, the Grizzled Young Veterans are fucking great champions. They have been fantastic in everything that they do. They have been absolutely fucking killing it every single time they defend those titles. And why take the titles off them when they're just so good? I mean, it wouldn't really make too much sense. Then, of course, you got Gallus. Gallus has been a bit lukewarm as of lately, but they are a decent-looking stable. And if given the opportunity, they could be good heels in the NXT UK Tag Team division. Then we got Andrews and Webster, the hometown boys. And if they want to go forth with the hometown boys pop, they could very well do that. And then Mustache Mountain can go off and take the titles off of Webster and Andrews. But I don't think that Mustache Mountain's going to take the title off of Webster and Andrews. Here's what I feel is going to happen. I feel as though the most logical thing that's happening right now, I have a feeling that Webster and Andrews are going to end up winning. The Grizzled Young Veterans have held those titles. It's going to come up on 231 days. The Grizzled Young Veterans have done all they could with those titles. And I have a feeling that they're going to need tag teams on NXT US when they eventually move to USA on September 18th. Right now, they only have about 4 or 5 teams. You got the Undisputed Era, you got the Street Profits, the Forgotten Sons, Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, and Breezango. Who else do you have? There's one team called 3.0, but outside of that, I haven't really seen too much of them. I just know that their name is 3.0. I've heard good things about them, don't get me wrong, but I haven't actually seen what they can do. So hopefully I get to see a little bit more of 3.0, and I get to see what they bring to the table as far as the tag team division goes. But so far, realistically, 5 teams. The Grizzled Young Veterans could really add some depth, and the Grizzled Young Veterans could really give you some classics in NXT US. I think it would be fantastic if they institute the Grizzled Young Veterans into the NXT US tag team division. As far as Webster and Andrews go, I have a feeling that they're in top contention of winning. Now, Gallus, obviously, they could go with Gallus, and they could do a clean sweep with Gallus at Cardiff. They could have Wolfgang and Mark Coffey win the tag titles, and they could have Joe Coffey defeat Dave Mastiff, but I don't think they're going to do that, and I'm going to explain why when I talk about the last man standing match. And the main event, obviously. I feel as though Webster and Andrews are going to be transitional champions. I have a feeling that they're probably going to hold the titles 3-4 months at max, probably to December. And they could very well end up losing the titles to Eichner and Bartel of Imperium. Imperium is pretty much the undisputed era of NXT UK at this rate. And them holding all the gold would really solidify them as the top heels in NXT UK. And they could really use that as momentum to make Mustache Mountain even bigger baby faces. Because we all know that Tyler Bate's not winning. We all know that Tyler Bate's not winning. It's going to be a great match, but Tyler Bate's not winning. Mustache Mountain, they're more valuable as a unit, and they're more valuable in the tag team division in NXT UK. And I have a feeling that Webster and Andrews are going to be transitional champions. They're going to get the win here in a very good match, possibly the match of the night. They're going to get the win. They're going to get a huge pop in their hometown. And we're going to see Imperium, Eichner, and Bartel take it off of them at a later date. I don't know when that is, but more likely than not, it's going to be at a later date. It could possibly be at the third NXT UK TakeOver. They could have an NXT UK TakeOver at the end of the year in December. Who knows? I'm going with Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster to win the tag team titles and get a huge pop in their hometown. Now, let's talk about the last man standing match between Coffey and Mastiff. I fully expect this to be better than Mastiff and Eddie Dennis at the first NXT UK TakeOver in Blackpool. Don't get me wrong, that was a very good match. I enjoyed that match. That was actually perhaps the most underrated match of the night. That was the most underrated match of the night. The top two matches of the night that everyone was talking about were Coffey and Dunn, and then the tag team match between the Grizzled Young Veterans and Mustache Mountain. But Dave Mastiff and Eddie Dennis, they did a lot of shit. They did a lot of crazy shit during that no disqualification match. If you have some time, take 11 minutes out of your day and go and watch that match. It was a great fucking match for the 11 minutes that it was. But I fully expect this last man standing match to be better than that. We know what Joe Coffey's capable of. Obviously, Joe Coffey's not everyone's cup of coffee, no pun intended. But Joe Coffey, when you put him in the ring with someone who is intense, someone who is fierce, someone who is as agile as Dave Mastiff, you're going to get a hard-hitting affair. Now you add weapons and you add the last man standing stipulation. I have a feeling that if they want to kick off the show with the last man standing match, I wouldn't mind it at all. I really wouldn't mind it. They could go ahead with Joe Coffey and Gallus and have Gallus get the clean sweep at Cardiff. But what I think is happening, in my eyes, I think they're going to go with Dave Mastiff. And I'm surprised that they haven't gone with Dave Mastiff yet as number one contender. I thought they were going to go ahead with Dave Mastiff as number one contender back in June when they had that fatal four-way with Joe Coffey, Dave Mastiff, Jordan Devlin, and Travis Banks, but they ended up going with Travis Banks and Walter. But Dave Mastiff's never been pinned. Dave Mastiff has been unbeaten. He's never been pinned and never been submitted. He hasn't lost a match in NXT UK. He's coming up on 1 year undefeated in NXT UK. So, I don't understand why it wouldn't make sense that Dave Mastiff could be the next in line. What more does he have to do? He's going into a match with Joe Coffey, who was recently vying for the United Kingdom Championship back in January. He beats Joe Coffey in the last man standing match. Who's to say Dave Mastiff isn't the number one contender? I'm going to go ahead and say Dave Mastiff is going to win this last man standing match and move on to bigger and better things. Next, Noam Dar and Travis Banks. If there's one match that's really going to be the cool down match, then it's going to be Travis Banks and Noam Dar. That's not taking anything away from Travis Banks and Noam Dar, because I know how good Travis Banks is. I know how good Noam Dar is. You know how good Travis Banks is. You know how good Noam Dar is. You know, before I actually talk about this, I'm very interested to see this match. This actually looks like it could be a very underrated match. I'm very much interested in this match. I do want to see it. But one thing that I keep on thinking of when I take a look at this match, I think of the fact that, you know, it's reminding me of NXT before they instituted the North American Championship. Because you take a look at NXT UK and it's overflowing with talent. It has an abundance of talent stuck in the mid-card pretty much doing nothing. Travis Banks and Noam Dar is included in there. So I would really not mind if they would institute a mid-card title in NXT UK. You did it with NXT because NXT was overflowing with talent, and the North American title has benefited a lot of people like Ricochet and Velveteen Dream. It could benefit Roderick Strong. I wouldn't mind if NXT UK instituted a mid-card title to help with those guys like Noam Dar, Travis Banks, Joe Coffey, Ilya Dragunov, Cassius Ohno. He's really not doing anything. Ligero, Ashton Smith. You know what I mean? They do have a lot of talent, and not everyone is going to be in the world title picture, especially with Walter. There's no way that Walter's losing that title anytime soon. Walter could end up having a longer reign than Pete Dunne. We don't know. It's certainly shaping up to be that way. Walter is on an absolute fucking tear as of lately. So I wouldn't understand why you wouldn't want to institute a mid-card title to give all of those guys something to fight for, rather than just floating around in the mid-card doing nothing until you have a number one contenders match and one person wins and then the rest all go back to doing nothing. But just like randomly feuding with other people in the mid-card. A mid-card title is definitely needed in NXT UK. I wouldn't mind it. I would love to see a mid-card title. I could definitely see guys like Travis Banks and Ilya Dragunov, Cassius Ohno, Noam Dar, among others, competing for it on a TakeOver on a weekly show. The North American title has benefited NXT US. A mid-card title could definitely benefit NXT UK. But Travis Banks and Noam Dar, I'm very much looking forward to this match. It looks very interesting. I think that Travis Banks is a great worker. Travis Banks, he put on a good performance against Walter not that long ago. Noam Dar is a great heel. I love the cockiness. I love the arrogance of Noam Dar. Noam Dar is almost like a comedic douchebag heel. And he looks the part. He's like 24 years old. He's 24 years old, 25 years old. He looks like $1 million. He's got all the talent in the world. And he's just so arrogant about it. That's what makes Noam Dar so great. I mean, how can you not love Noam Dar? As far as the winner goes, you know, again, this is where the unpredictability factor for NXT UK and NXT in general comes into play. You could swing either way. Maybe they are. Maybe they are really planning a mid-card title to be instituted in NXT UK. Maybe they are. Maybe this is the start of it. You never know. It really is a toss-up because Noam Dar is a great heel. Noam Dar is a great heel. So him getting a win and getting some momentum behind him would make sense. But at this rate, Noam Dar isn't competing for the United Kingdom Championship anytime soon. And I wouldn't say Travis Banks is competing for the United Kingdom title anytime soon, but Travis Banks right now has a little bit of momentum behind him. Travis Banks getting the win over Noam Dar and really solidifying himself as a key player in NXT UK because Travis Banks has a lot of untapped potential. Travis Banks has really been given the short end of the stick. He missed out on the first TakeOver, and because of that, I have a feeling that they're going to use that to motivate Travis Banks, and they're going to use that to build the story around Travis Banks, and they're going to have Travis Banks walk out victorious against Noam Dar. I don't know how long this match is going. 15 minutes at most. I expect it to be a great match. I expect Travis Banks to win. It's a possibility. I'm not going to be mad if Noam Dar wins, but Travis Banks winning here would make the most sense considering what happened back at Blackpool, and I believe they're going to play up to that story. So we'll definitely see how that plays out. defending the NXT UK Women's Championship against Kaylee Ray. Two former friends turned bitter enemies. Oh, by the way, Kaylee Ray's heel work is great. Kaylee Ray's heel work is great, and it's great that she has such a great baby face like Toni Storm to feed off of. I think that Kaylee Ray's been doing a great job as a heel. She's undefeated, and at this rate, I won't be surprised. Kaylee Ray wins. I really wouldn't be surprised. What does Toni Storm have left to prove? Toni Storm has gone through everyone. I really thought that they were going to go with Piper Niven and Toni Storm, considering what those two did in the Mae Young Classic a few years back. But I'm really not complaining about Kaylee Ray. I'm not. Kaylee Ray has been doing great. Kaylee Ray has been a great fucking heel. She's just been trashing Toni Storm. She's been getting all the boos, all the right reactions everywhere she goes when she talks about Toni Storm. And Kaylee Ray, she's a very intense wrestler. She's very intense. Her strikes and her moves are very, very intense. And that's something in the women's division that is sorely needed, intensity. Kaylee Ray has that intense nature, that intense style that we need in the women's division. And that really helps with the promo work that she does. And I really wouldn't be surprised if Kaylee Ray wins. What does Toni Storm have left to prove? She's run through everyone. Rhea Ripley, Xia Brookside, Nina Samuels, Ginny, everyone. She's run through everyone. Isla Dawn. There's no one left. There's nobody left. At this rate, I think that Toni Storm is NXT US bound. Toni Storm's NXT US bound mainly because of the fact that they need some challengers in the NXT US Women's Division. Shayna Baszler's run through everyone, but with what recently happened, and I don't know if you saw, but Rhea Ripley did make herself known in NXT US, and she called out Shayna Baszler. She stood face to face with Shayna Baszler, so we could end up getting Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler. And I'm going to say this. I'm making a bold prediction right here. I think that we're going to get Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler on the debut episode of NXT on the USA Network. It's going to be 2 hours from 8 to 10 on September 18th. We're going to get Shayna Baszler defending the title against Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley is going to win. I'm making this bold prediction right now. Rhea Ripley is going to win the NXT Women's Championship on the debut episode of NXT on USA. Toni Storm is going to be losing the NXT UK Women's Championship to Kaylee Ray. They're going to move Toni Storm to NXT US. We're going to have a rematch from NXT TakeOver Blackpool, a revisitation of that feud. We're going to see Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley clash now for the NXT Women's Championship. You know that they need to load up the women's division, the tag team division, the mid-card division, the main event scene. They need to load up every single division possible in NXT US since they're going head-to-head with All Elite Wrestling. Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley on NXT US, I think that would be best for business at this rate. If I was WWE, I would do it. Kaylee Ray wins the title. She can have a few defenses here and there, and she could possibly lose it by the end of the year. If I'm going to make a prediction of who she's losing it to, I'm going with Piper Niven. Piper Niven, I said this before, whether it was Piper Niven or Kaylee Ray first, those two were going to be the next two NXT UK Women's Champions after Toni Storm. I thought that they were going to go with Piper Niven first and then put forth Kaylee Ray. But considering that Piper Niven's a babyface right now and you don't want to overexpose and overpush Piper Niven, they're going with Kaylee Ray and they're going with the hot heel right now in the women's division. Kaylee Ray winning the title, I think they would be good. Kaylee Ray winning the title, and then at the end of the year, she could possibly lose it to Piper Niven. I expect this to be a very good women's match. It could very well be better than Toni and Rhea at NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. We'll see how it plays out, but I'm going with Kaylee Ray to win. Finally, the main event. And I've heard a lot of great shit about these two and a match that they had in progress. Tyler Bate and Walter for the WWE United Kingdom Championship. I would really not be surprised if Triple H goes forth and makes this match probably the best match in NXT UK TakeOver history. Tyler Bate, I don't know how the fuck Tyler Bate does half of the shit that he does. Tyler Bate is not human. Tyler Bate is UK Terminator, in my eyes. The fact that he picked up 300-pound Walter in the Tyler Driver 97 on NXT UK TV just proves to you that Tyler Bate is going to make everyone a believer. And Tyler Bate, he's going to put forth the match of his life. I think that this could very well be better than Bate and Dunn 1 back at TakeOver Chicago. Actually, no, that was Bate and Dunn 2. Bate and Dunn 2 was their best matchup together. And I think that we could very well see something even greater than we saw at that match. We could very well end up seeing something greater than what we saw with Pete Dunne and Walter at TakeOver New York. I think this is going to be a match of the year fucking candidate. Keep your eyes peeled on this match. Do not sleep on this match whatsoever. I'm telling you right now. You're going to get a fucking show stealer. As far as the outcome goes, well, I've said it before. Mustache Mountain, they are more valuable in the tag team division. They're more valuable in the tag team division. They're more valuable as a unit. And I feel as though this is just a one-and-done deal. And they're building up this storyline because Tyler Bate is such a good babyface. And what happened with the attack on Mustache Mountain by Imperium, I have a feeling that this would have been, this is probably the best story that they could go forth. I knew that Travis Banks wasn't getting the opportunity at UK TakeOver Cardiff, but I didn't think it was going to be Tyler Bate. I thought that they would have done Ilya Dragunov since he's been undefeated, but they recently had him lose his undefeated streak to Cassius Ohno. Walter, we already know how good Walter is. I expect Walter to retain here in a fucking classic, and Walter could very well move on to Dave Mastiff. I think that Walter could end up moving on to Dave Mastiff in the fall months. We could end up seeing Walter and Dave Mastiff on NXT television. We could very well end up seeing Walter and Dave Mastiff again at the next NXT UK TakeOver, depending on how soon that is. But right now, Walter's the money champion right now. I told you that Imperium is the undisputed era of NXT UK. Sooner or later, Eichner and Bartel are going to win the tag team titles, and if they want to institute a mid-card title, Alexander Wolf as the first champion, having Imperium hold all the gold, I think that would really, really put some more eyes on NXT UK. I'm expecting a great match between Walter and Tyler Bate. I'm expecting Walter to retain and move on to Dave Mastiff in the fall months. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rundown. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. A couple of things. Follow me on Instagram at TheDJStorms. Follow me on Twitter at Man of Charisma. What I want you guys to do is I want you guys to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. We are on the road to 1,400 subscribers. We are less than 50 subs away from 1,400. Leave a comment down below. Which match are you most interested in NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff? Which match you think is going to steal the show? Which match do you think is going to be the most underrated match? I also want you guys to hit that thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, hit that thumbs up. Try to get this video to 15 thumbs up. I also want you to hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube.com. I will be announcing for the Rescue Mania show during the Rutherford Street Fair. As I said in the beginning, it is taking place on Labor Day, September 2nd in Rutherford, New Jersey on Ames Avenue near St. Mary High School in Rutherford, New Jersey. Starts at 12 noon. The matches start at 12 noon. There's 6 matches. I will be commentating with Ed Ruffalo. Come on, say hi. You can meet the wrestlers. You can meet me. You can meet Ed. You can meet anyone. Socialize. It's a street fair. We can have a great damn time. I will keep you guys posted on when the next Rescue Mania event is going to be. The next scheduled one, not a Rescue Mania event in the street. The next one at the next venue. I will also keep you guys posted on my schedule for college and how that is going to affect my YouTube uploading schedule. Tomorrow is the rundown for All Elite Wrestling's All Out pay-per-view. That will be up tomorrow. Friday's the Lightning Flash update. I'm going to try and get the rewind for TakeOver Cardiff up on Labor Day, and then on Tuesday is the Rewind for All Out. Wednesday, I start college. Again, I will keep you guys posted on every single little detail going on as far as that goes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Storms, and this has been The Rundown. I'll see you guys tomorrow for The Rundown for All Out.